Let's sing a song full of hope, full of pain. Why don't you sing along, my friend? For it's our last refrain. Forever young, ever strong, ever brave. Memories like this never end. No, they don't fade away. So when I'm gone, oh, when I'm gone, I'll be right there, close to the sun. Keep holding on, keep holding on. And I'll be right there, close to the sun, close to the sun. Close to the sun. Here's to the ones who let shine through the rain, the ones who stood for something more. We won't forget your names. The tide is high, say goodbye, we're setting sail, and all those midnight secrets told, we'll take them to the grave. So when I'm gone, oh, when I'm gone, I'll be right there, close to the sun. Keep holding on, and I'll be right there, close to the sun, close to the sun. Close to the sun. So when I'm gone, oh, when I'm gone, I'll be right there, close to the sun. Keep holding on, and I'll be right there, close to the sun, close to the sun.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Icey Lair podcast. I'm your host, the Ice Dragon, Rayron. Well, what a disastrous week for pop culture. My goodness. I could not believe it felt like, and especially it happened over the course of pretty much one day. One announcement after another, after another, after another, with all of the franchises. I could not believe it. And it's like, man, are we going to get anything good? And it's like, I just dove my nose back into manga after seeing all of those announcements. Like, I killed like 3 volumes last night. And I've got so many manga spotlight videos to do. I'm way behind. So there will be another flood of manga spotlight videos coming soon. It'll probably end up being Monday, to be honest. Because I'm kind of taking a little bit of time off this weekend because I just been super busy and needed some time to myself. But there's always going to be the Isolator podcast to come to on the weekend, and I'm always excited for. So, yeah, it has been kind of just a disastrous of a week. I mean, I think every franchise was touched in some sort of way this week. And so we've got so much to talk about. It was getting to the point that I was saving so many tweets that I thought I was going to need another extra hour to go through all the reboots, the announcements, and all sorts of things. And yeah, nothing is safe. Nothing is safe. I'm going to try to see if I can find something really quick as I do this. But yeah, I just couldn't believe it. And it really started I want to see if I can find it. Yeah, it really started with this trailer. Because I couldn't believe what I was watching. I could not believe what I was watching. Let's see here. Okay, so you guys remember Chippendale Rescue Rangers, right? Let's go ahead and start off with this. This trailer, I could not believe it. I think this came out on Monday of this week, and that's what kind of started this giant shit show of a week. The voice actor for, I believe it's Dale, doesn't even sound like the original. Not even close. You know, we live, and this is Disney we're talking about. We live in an era where you can almost computer generate Luke Skywalker's voice into live action. Why can't we do that for, or at least make the attempt to do that for Chippendale? This trailer just gets worse and worse and worse. They treat this like a kind of an MTV type of story where the Chippendale, they were very famous and apparently they fell off the radar. And now they're doing of what are they doing now type of thing. And it's like this entire movie reminds me, or this trailer reminds me of The Matrix Resurrections. It did need to happen. It is stupidly self-aware. And they're trying way too much. It's too meta. Because they talk about rebooting. I mean, you can take a look here that there's two different animation styles, which just by looking at this one single frame gives me a giant headache. Because my eyes have to continuously have to adjust between the 3D and then the 2D. It doesn't look natural. And it's just god-awful. And it's just, they've kept that the entire way through. That 2D versus 3D rendering. And it's awful. Borat, I guess it makes an appearance, apparently. Ugh. What happened? And it's just a whole bunch of cameos. Oh, do you remember Indiana Jones? Oh, do you remember this? Oh, do you remember that? It's like, what happened to the originality of these stories? The fact that we rely so much on cameos. Look, get your Indiana Jones surplus here. Nostalgia for nostalgia's sake. Yeah, I hate every. I mean, just look at this. Look at the eyes. It looks so freaking creepy. This is cringe. I'm gonna crop this actually because this will make for some interesting thumbnails, I think. So let me go ahead and crop this out. There. This is so bad. I just don't know what to say. This is so bad. This is not the Rescue Rangers I remember. The Rescue Rangers I remember was Chip and Dale and the rest of the gang on their, if I remember correctly, like, I can't remember the main vehicle. It's either a balloon or an airplane. I can't quite remember, but I'm probably mixing things up. Because I've also, like I said, I read a ton of manga, so now everything's starting to get jumbled together. But what happened with them going on adventures, you know? This is not Chip and Dale. This is just... And of course, you gotta have cameos. There's even MLP, for all you MLP fans out there. There's your cameo. The only saving grace for this film is that it's going straight to streaming, which is good because it can get buried away in Disney Plus and we don't have to see it ever, ever, ever again. Ever again. So yeah, that's how this week started. I thought this was a joke, to be honest. Like, I legitimately thought that, wait a minute, is this actually a real thing? Is this like a legitimate thing that Disney's producing? And sure enough, it was. Revenge of the Reboots. And then it just got worse. Actually, I'll have to rewind it. The first thing that actually happened was Lord of the Rings, but we'll get to Lord of the Rings here in a second because that was from the Super Bowl, and man, that was awful. Like, oof. I don't even know what to go to next. There's so many different things. So let's start on this front. So we all know that Arcane did really, really well, and just like Hollywood likes to do, they like to follow trends. And Arcane started a trend because it was a very good story. Again, I still consider a masterpiece. Yes, there are issues with it, but it's a modern day masterpiece because everything else is just shit. Everything else is crap. And so, yeah, maybe my standards have fallen a little bit, but I respect Arcane. And the more I watch YouTubers covering Arcane, the more details that I have missed, and that now I really need to rewatch it. I just gotta find the time to watch Arcane again. And so once again, Hollywood follows this trend that, oh, we should all do that too, and then do it terribly. I believe this was on Tuesday. We got a plethora of announcements from video games going to live action. Fallout. Walton Goggins, the star in Prime Video's TV series from Kilter's Films based on games. Walter Goggins is set to lead in a Fallout Prime Video series adaptation of the best-selling game franchise, which comes from Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy's Kilter's Films, with Nolan set to direct the premiere. The world of Fallout is one where the future envisioned by Americans in the late 1940s explodes upon itself through a nuclear war in 2077. The magic of the Fallout world is a harshness of the wasteland set against the previous generation's utopian idea of a better world through nuclear energy. Details about Goggins' character are not revealed, but he is believed to be playing a ghoul. In Fallout, ghouls are mutated humans who experience prolonged radiation exposure amid the Great War. Fallout, the TV series, is the Amazon Studios and Kilter Films in association with Bethesda Game Studios and Bethesda's Softworks, with execution producers Nolan, Joy, Athena Wickham for Kilter Films, Todd Howard from Bethesda Game Studios, and James Altman for Bethesda's Softworks. A Fallout franchise has posted record sales and received dozens of games. Yeah, we know that. Justified Goggins is recurring on HBO The Righteous Gemstones, which is currently airing in its second season. Never heard of it. Don't care for it. He also is a part of the cast of Apple TV's Plus limited series The Last Days of Paul Tommy Gray, starring Samuel L. Jackson. He recently wrapped up the movie Dreamin' World, written, directed by, so on and so forth. So that's all the credentials of this so-called director. I am just concerned. This can go good, this can go bad, but it's like, we got the gem of Arcane, but Arcane took 6 years to make. This is going to take way less than that, and it's probably going to be extremely bad. We'll see. We shall see. So that was like the start of it. So Fallout. Next one. Dimitri M. Johnson's Entertainment to adapt video games for TV under first look deal with Amazon Studios. So again, Amazon is trying to gobble up because they saw the success of Arcane on Netflix. Amazon wants their Arcane, just like how they want Game of Thrones. And so they are trying desperately to gobble up all of these TV licenses to see if they can get their Arcane. Amazon Studios will further dive into the world of video game adaptation, signing a first-look deal with one of the production companies behind the Sonic the Hedgehog film. The streamer has struck a deal with Dimitri Johnson Entertainment, which co-produced the Sonic film and is involved in the sequel. Under the pact, DJ2 Entertainment, which specializes in bringing video games titles to screen, will create and produce content that will exclusively stream on Prime Video, including TV adaptations and gaming IP. Now, one of those IPs, we will go ahead and take a look over here, is going to be Last of Us. Oh, excuse me. Life is Strange. So DJ2 Entertainment is looking to adapt Life is Strange into a film or TV series. Joy, because we all know what happened in the Life is Strange 2. That ended very well. Not. The deal comes shortly after DJ2 struck a deal with that person's Highlight Studios to bring Game of the Year It Takes Two to TV and film. Beyond the charming 2021 two-player game, DJ2 also seeks to adapt Life is Strange, which we just talked about that they are, and Disco Asylum, and more for television and film. At the end of the day, again, trendsetters. When something is good and different, then everyone else wants to try to get a copy or clone of it, which again is just diminishing returns. You have to create something new. You got to be creative. This is why manga is freaking killing it, because you have writers that are telling unique and interesting stories. Sometimes they fall under the same trope from time to time, but then different characters, different plot lines, different themes can break that a little bit and bring some uniqueness to the stories. This is not going to be unique. This is corporate creativity, which we know how this happens. We know the end result of this. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Let's see here. All right, let's talk about another game that we all know is going to get shot to hell. Halo. Yes, Halo is going to be doing a live adaptation. The problem with it is that it's not going to be canon. They're going down this silver timeline. The minute they said silver timeline, I'm out. I am done with different timelines. I am done with different verses. I'm just done with that type of stuff, because it's simply another tool to say that we can do whatever we want with this other original franchise, which means they're going to put their own spin to it, which means, modern day spins means modern day politics. Who's not to say that the Master Chief is going to be female? The helmet just changes the voice to be masculine, but when the helmet is revealed, it's going to be a female. I'm hoping not. Or it's going to be a black man underneath that helmet. No offense, it's just that is modern politics. Calling it right now. When a story is being told, generally there are typical rules that are established to the reader. It's kind of like the unwritten contract. If you're going to tell a new story, we need to know what the story's about. What are the main characters? What's the society look like? What era is it going to be in? When the original creator's rules are violated or changed or manipulated, that's when that contract between the reader and what's being presented is broken. And when that's broken, that's when you can say goodbye to the money. Because it is a respect thing. Especially when something is good. Well written. Thought out. Gee, that sounds like Lord of the Rings. Freaking bots. And that's why everyone's just frustrated because, when the original story was created, when we buy a product, when we dive into a world, we expect those rules and expectations to be followed through. And then when you put random timelines, random multiverses, you are now breaking that contract, the expectation. And that's why I fell into this trap too with trying to give the benefit of the doubt. I did that with Mandalorian, and I got burned by that severely. Because I was super hyped with seeing Luke Skywalker at the end of season 2. Like I said, I was definitely a fan of that. And I watched that 30 times, that end scene, because that's the original contract when I got into and started watching Star Wars when I was very young. But then good old Boba Fett just burned me even more. And in matter of fact, it doubled down on The Last Jedi, and that's when I blackpilled. That's when I blackpilled, because I don't give two shits for Disney Star Wars. I don't care for it. I do not care for it. Man, these bots are awful. They are definitely vicious today. I do not care about Disney Star Wars anymore. Because they're just tripling down, and we'll get into Star Wars too. We will get into Star Wars as well. Can I not? Let's see here. How can I? Wish there was a way. I know there's a way. Yeah, shoot. I'll have to look at that later. I'm probably going to end up putting my channel in subscription only mode. I do not want to do that, but the bots are just pretty bad right now. So I'll have to figure that out later. Anyways, let me do one more thing here. I'm just going to put that away for right now. Can I reload this? Let's see here. I'll just show it off right now. Yeah, I don't care for Star Wars. But anyways, so let's jump back into Halo here. So the upcoming Halo TV show will reveal Master Chief's face for the first time in the history of the franchise. Of course, because you are taking advantage of what was not originally stated from the original franchise. Gee, what other franchise is getting ready to do that? Lord of the Rings. Talking to Ryan McCaffrey as part of the IGN Fan Fest, Halo's executive producer and 343 Industrial Studios head of Transmedia said that showing the Chief's face was important for the story the show will tell. Yeah, they're going to tell a very woke agenda, and it's going to piss everyone off. Like I said, I'm calling it right now. It's not going to be a white man underneath that mask. I guarantee it. I think we set out to tell a character story and a personal story, she explained. Yeah, you don't need to take off the helmet. This is the exact same problem that Mandalorian was doing, that Boba Fett was doing. Again, trends. They see this trend, Disney's doing it. Oh, everyone else would do it too. And once we really get into what the story was, it became clear that you really needed to see the person in the armor and under the helmet. No, we didn't. No, we don't. That's what made Master Chief so good in 1, 2, and 3. And those are the ones that I grew up with, and I stopped after 3. I dipped out after 3. So I thought the story was fairly complete at that point. I didn't care for 4 or 5, ODST, Reach. I didn't care for any of those. Having a mystery element of the character is what makes it unique. If you take off the helmet, then you're not going to be unique. You're just going to be another Mandalorian, another Boba Fett. You will see his face, she confirmed. Okay, so it's his, so we know it's going to be a guy. Well, at least that's some good news. For some people, it's been a moment 20 years in the making. No, it hasn't. No one asked for this. And for other people, it is something that feels very hard to imagine. Yeah, because that's part of his character. You're going to destroy his character. Luckily, it's in this stupid silver timeline, which means I don't have to care about it. It's not canon. You're making fan fiction at this point. That's the thing. If you make these different timelines, you're creating fan fiction. Simple as that. And no offense to the fan fictions that are out there, because there are some damn good ones. But it's not canon. It's a totally different timeline. Giving you your plot armor against us to criticize it. Halo will premiere on March 24th on Paramount Plus. Good, because I don't have to deal with that then. In the U.S., it features all those actors. Pablo as Master Chief wearing a game accurate. Wait a minute. If they're going to show his face. Wait a minute. Let me look up this actor real quick. Pablo. Let me do some research. Okay. I think I can get on board with this. Okay. Not too bad then. Okay, it's a Canadian actor. Okay. So this is the individual that apparently is playing Halo. Master Chief. Okay. I'm okay with that. But still, he should not show his face. Absolutely not. This is just another trope that we don't need. So we'll basically remove the helmet. That's, in theory, what we're going to be seeing underneath the helmet. I don't care. And they're saying that it's going to be monumental. No. While this has always meant we'll never see Chief's face in the game, it looks like we'll finally be seeing Schreiber's shaped face beneath the helmet. Yeah. Don't care. Absolutely don't care. If anything, removing the helmet removes the original intent of the world that we got into from Halo 1. You just diminish it. Because that's why we loved Halo. That's why we loved Chief. Because he was this mysterious figure that all these answers that or all these questions shouldn't have answers. You know, why do you think Doctor Who is having so many problems right now? Because they answered so many questions that didn't need answers to. The Timeless Children destroyed that franchise. And it's going to bankrupt the BBC. Only a matter of time. If it's one thing customers have, is time. Corporations never do. They will all fall sooner or later. This is so disappointing. I want new stories. I'm tired of trying to resurrect dead franchises. I'm tired of franchises switching mediums and platforms they should never be on. If they're a gaming franchise, they need to stay on gaming. If they're on TV, they probably need to stay on TV. Now, granted, we wouldn't have outliers like Arcane. Granted, I get that. But Arcane is an outlier. Very, very disappointed with this. I just don't know what else to say. It is very, very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. All right. So I think the next thing we'll go to is my childhood. We'll see how my childhood's getting kind of destroyed. Let's go ahead and jump to Bounty in the Comics. Power Rangers Dino Fury introduces series first LGBT Ranger. Fuck. Why? Just why? And the first for a long-running American television adaptation of Super Sentai Power Rangers, Dino Fury has introduced an LGBT Ranger to the Morphin grid. Why? Doesn't matter. Is it going to be the bestest ever? To quote Doomcock. The American counterpart of whatever. And second Power Rangers series to be produced by Hasbro since acquiring a license from Sabin brand. That I didn't know, and that's very unfortunate. Following Beast Morphers, Dino Fury follows the infamous team as they fight to stop the villainous Void, Knight, and Spyrox Army. Joy to the world. Granted, the powers by the ancient alien knights. Oh, okay, this is just the backstory. I know the backstory. We all know the backstory. The confirmation of Izzy's lesbian identity can be seen in Dino Fury's 13th episode, The Matchmaker. Funny how it takes 13 episodes to reveal this. You would think they would do it on the first episode. Woke on woke crime. As the episode begins, now they're going to talk about the episode, which I really don't care about. I really don't care about. Oh, yeah, there we go. And of course, they had to label it The Matchmaker. They made a whole episode dedicated to this crap. I don't care about relationships in my stories sometimes. Especially in Power Rangers. It doesn't belong there. Let alone in LGBT representation. Whatever. Don't care. Another dying franchise. Kill it. We'll talk about Star Wars in a minute. Okay, so now Star Trek. Like I said, this has been a hell of a week. This is a roundabout of just which franchise was affected this week. And in this case, it was all of them. Star Trek 4 in development with original cast, says J.J. Abrams. We are thrilled. We are not. J.J. Abrams says the fourth Star Trek film will be shooting by the end of the year and will be featuring our original cast of some new characters. Will Chris Pine and the rest that I don't care about. Cast will be beaming back up to USS Enterprise soon, according to J.J. Abrams, Jar Jar Abrams, who directed the '09 reboot, and its disastrous 2013 sequel. The original cast will be back for a fourth movie that will be shooting by the end of the year, he said. Tuesday, Paramount Investors Day presentation, because Paramount needs something for their investors. Now I'm curious. What's Paramount's stock? Because just recently, CBS Viacom merged with Paramount, and now it's all Paramount. Because everyone's failing. I don't know if there is stock in Paramount. Let's see here. Well, they have investors, so let's see here. let's take a look here at the month. It's been kind of rocky. It's not too bad. So, looks like they had a really... This is for 1 year. Yeah, this is 1 year. So, dipped a little bit, rose, and then really rose. I mean, that's probably because of the merger. But then you can see it's starting to kind of dip back down again. So, we'll see. We will see how Paramount goes. The team is hard at work on the movie that will include both the original cast and some new characters that I think are going to be really fun. New characters meaning the ones that you haven't used yet from the original movies. Because that's all you do. You're a repurposer that just makes things worse. We're thrilled about the film, he added. We have a bunch of other stories that we're talking about that we think will be really exciting. So can't wait for you to see what we're cooking up. Yeah, to polish shit. It was concluded with one of the famous lines from the series, "Until then, live long and prosper." Yeah, no, thank you. Gross. Yeah. Star Trek, yay. Okay, let's bounce over to Star Wars. Star Wars 10 can be what Disney's sequel trilogy always should have been. Gee, great. The rumored Star Wars 10, Episode 10, can improve on Disney's sequel trilogy's mistake and explore how to rebuild Jedi Order can learn from its past failures. This is ridiculous. I'm glad I blackpilled this because this is where it's going. By the end of The Rise of Skywalker, all of our main characters are dead. They were not even Force ghosts. They were Force voices. All of them were dead, to include, Clone Wars fans, Ahsoka Tano's been dead too. Everyone. All roads lead to this motherfucker right here. Garbage. Could prove to the movie that Disney's decisive sequel trilogy could have been all along. Gee, you don't say. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Under Disney's ownership, Star Wars has expanded considerably in terms of content, if not always storytelling. The Skywalker saga was thought to have ended with the lackluster Rise of Skywalker, but online chatter suggests another trilogy might be on the way. More, the rumor indicates that new Star Wars trilogy will focus on the rebuilt Jedi Order. This is ridiculous. So here's what they're doing. We know that they're stealing ideas and thoughts and story plot lines from the expanded universe. The next three, if this is true, again, this is so-called rumor, just like all the other sequels we were supposed to get in trilogies, from D&D to Rian Johnson's trilogy, which we all know it's not here yet. Where is it? Where are those trilogies, Disney, that you so wonderfully announced? Just read between the lines. The decisive sequel trilogy should have been all along. That should tell you right then and there. They're going to copy some stories from the expanded universe. They may even steal Luke's story from the expanded universe and put it under Rey. Last I checked, she's not coming back to play her character. So I'm really curious to see what happens with that. Disney's sequel trilogy had a promising start with The Force Awakens, even if its plot borrowed too heavily from the 1977 original Star Wars. Unfortunately, conflicting ideas and lack of clear plan meant the sequels never formed a consistent trilogy. Gee, you don't say. Harmless nostalgia turned into obsessive fan service. Obsessive fan service. Oh, is that what they're calling a paying customer who wants to see what they want to see and expectations? And see Luke Skywalker actually be a badass? Obsessive fan service? I guess you really don't want my money. That's fine. Manga will happily take my money with arms wide open. Not only will they take my money and give me a great story, they will hug me too, because those stories are just gut-wrenching, gut-punching, and tear-jerking storylines. Fuck Disney. It's not a Icy Layer podcast without the Icy Dragon raging at Disney. Harmless nostalgia turned into obsessive fan service with promising new ideas buried underneath superficial references to the past. Gee, don't say. One of the sequel trilogy's problems was its attachment to the Star Wars prequels and the Jedi Order. Okay, despite their pivotal connection to the New Republic's downfall. Bitch, please, they didn't even talk about the New Republic. You guys didn't even freaking give... The world building was shit. We don't know a darn thing about the New Republic. Fuck off. This status of the Star Wars galaxy after the rise of Skywalker. If Lucasfilm is indeed developing a post-sequel Star Wars trilogy focusing on the formation of the New Jedi Order, it could undo much of damage dealt by the last 3 movies. No, it won't, because you failed to unite Han, Luke, and Leia. And Leia is dead. Rest in peace, Carrie Fisher. The only way you can bring her back is by CGI, which we all know how cringe that's starting to look nowadays. Just look at Luke Skywalker. The sequels were fixated on the First Order's rise, but failed to fully explain why another war occurred. Yep, neglecting to explore the strategies and rebuilding flawed by a hugely influential religion. Luke Skywalker's defeatist attitude in The Last Jedi was extremely decisive. Yeah, no shit. Yet his assertion that the legacy of the Jedi is a failure was a compelling concept that should have been explored far more deeply than the sequel trilogy. Yeah, gee, don't say. Now they're backtracking and doing it in Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian Season 3. Because now Season 3 is going to be a full buttfuck of cameos. Now baby freaking Yoda is going to be with him. And they're going to have to go on a quest every time, and baby Yoda's going to eat the damn food. To be all cutesy and shit. I am so freaking over baby Yoda. And now the stupid thing's back. I'm just going to go back and watch Cowboy Bebop. I'm just going to go back to Star Wars The Old Republic. And play my bounty hunter class. Because that's what I want in a bounty hunter. Not this soy boy fucking bounty hunter crime lord thing. Yet his assertion that the legacy of the Jedi is a failure was a compelling concept that should have been explored more deeply throughout the sequel trilogy. More broadly, the fallacy of the hero worship and people's romanticism for the Jedi should have been at the center of Star Wars sequel trilogy. Gee, don't say. Especially after Skywalker's role in defeating the Empire 30 years later. Yet the Jedi were still treated as mythical warriors, and the Order barely touched upon the plot, more concerned with replicating the underdog hero dynamic of the original trilogy. The galaxy's regression to war and fragility of the New Republic were never adequately addressed. Yep, Luke clearly learned far too late that the Jedi Order was narrow-minded, but this realization should have been prompted time for a change in the galaxy. Instead, Star Wars 10 could tackle that means for the Jedi in a new, more enlightened era. Because that's what Disney wants. They destroyed all the old characters, so now they can have this strong female protagonist who is a freaking Mary Sue. And now all they're going to do is replace Luke Skywalker, insert Mary Sue here from the EU, and all is going to be good in the world. Yeah, no. Done. Absolutely done. Despite becoming a legend post-original trilogy, Luke's influence was never explored in Disney's sequel trilogy. Jedi appeared as if they were still largely forgotten, and Skywalker family's reputation in the galaxy remains ambiguous, undermining the core idea behind the plot hole-heavy Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, no duh. because it wasn't planned, and you had Jar Jar Abrams and mystery boxes. Yeah, I'm done with this. Sorry, I can't. I don't care about this. We know where this is gonna go. Very disappointing. Star Wars is broken. Star Wars is done. They're not gonna use the Veil of the Force. They're just gonna use the Veil of the Force to promote their objectives. Yeah, I'm over it. Sorry, Star Wars, you're dead to me. And now for the trifecta for today. Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power showrunners admit they don't have the rights to Silmarillion or the Unfinished Tales, which means that they only had rights to the appendices of, to my understanding, Return of the King. The Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power showrunners admit that their show does not have a number of rights that depict events from the Second Age of Lord of the Rings world. Speaking with Vanity Fair, Payne revealed they only have the rights to the Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, and Return of the King, the appendices, and the Hobbit. Okay, fair. He stated that He stated we have the rights solely to the Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, and Return of the King, the appendices, and the Hobbit, and that is it. We do not have the rights to Silmarillion, Unfinished Tales, the History of Middle Earth, or any of those other books. Sucks to suck. You spent darn near $1 trillion on this for just that. And by the way, the trailer just didn't grab my attention. Like, it's the same old woke stories, same old modern day issues inserted into a high fantasy genre. That is the contract that Tolkien gave to his customers, to the readers. He built this world. He made all these books, created these characters, these worlds through his lens. He wanted to give the reader his ideas. Lord of the Rings is looked upon for the blueprint and template for high fantasy genre storytelling. And yet you want to fucking put a dwarf that looks like that came from a modern era. You are destroying the pure definition. Amazon is destroying the basic foundations of this genre to begin with. The minute they start meddling with modern day politics into a fantasy story, you're going to change it. It becomes high to low fantasy. Or even worse, it just becomes a generic fantasy that no one wants to care about because it's not true fantasy to begin with. This show's going to be shit. Not looking forward to it. I'll probably watch it because I am a minority when I say this, and this is an icy take, but I actually like the original. I like The Hobbit. Yes, it definitely has issues. It has too much CGI. There's a romance in there that shouldn't have happened. I understand that. But I did like The Hobbit, and I did like the prequels essentially for it. Lord of the Rings was always going to be a masterpiece. Like, I am trying to get a tradition going where I see all three once a year. Sit down on a special holiday. It's probably going to end up being like Christmas time is when I'm going to end up watching the three. But yeah, this is crazy. This doesn't look like Lord of the Rings to me. It just doesn't. I mean, the place looks fine, but I don't know. I just don't know. Let's see what else we got. We talked about that. Okay, so yeah, all those Game of Thrones fans out there, Ice and Fire fans out there, keep hoping that winds of winter are gonna come. Good luck. I wish you the best because George R. R. Martin has signed a deal with Marvel to create a comic adaptation of his Wild Cards anthology series. This guy's a fucking con man. Simple as that. He conned you out of a ending to his story. All great stories need a beginning, middle, and need an end to be timeless, to be a masterpiece, to be a classic. Without an ending, your story's shit. I don't care how good the beginning and middle is. If you can't finish it, if you can't finish what you started, it's shit. I feel so sorry for all of you out there that invested the time in watching Game of Thrones. I'm glad I didn't get into it. I am stupidly thankful now. I mean, this is hindsight that I didn't watch it. I watched pretty much a couple episodes, and then I watched the whole last season. And I was going to dedicate some time to watch all the seasons so that way I get caught up, and I said, fuck it. I know enough of the spoilers. I knew enough of the story as it is from just word of mouth and social media that, I just ended up watching it. And boy, I was judicated because it was shit. It was bad. And I'm glad I didn't read the books. Because as soon as I found out that the books weren't even finished, that they were just doing it on the fly, yeah. He's not going to finish the books. I hate to say it. The writing's on the wall. He's not going to finish it. Even me being a normie to Game of Thrones. Not even normie, just not even a fan. Can read the writing on the wall that he's not going to finish it. Not going to finish it. We talked about Power Rangers again, thanks to Bounty in the Comics. A little spoilers for Monday for all the manga stuff. Talked about the Fallout series. This was an interesting random bit of information. So this is kind of a lesson learned, and always look into the contracts that you are signing. Poor Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill confirms that on Netflix owns the exclusive rights to his face. Can you believe that? You can sign away your rights to your own face in the entertainment business. I understand it's also called likeness, but I mean that's why you don't see his face in that's why WB you don't see his face at all. It's because Netflix owns the rights for 2 years because of The Witcher. Yikes. It was an unfortunate contract thing. I missed it. So did my agent. You need to fire agent Henry Cavill. I think we've all been saying this. Your agent sucks. Oh well, 2 years to go. Dude is a jock and a nerd. And humble. I don't have the article here, but he went to, I think, a Games Workshop store and hung out with some of the guys there. Just talking about Warhammer 40k stuff. Man, we need a Netflix adaptation of Warhammer 40k. I know what I'm saying with that, but I want Henry Cavill. If Henry Cavill's on it, then I will still bastardize the crap out of it. But we'll never get that. And it's kind of a good thing that we're not. In this day and age, I am happy with my Horus Heresy books. And as long as they're locked up in there, it's all about gatekeeping. And I am willing to say that, okay, as much as my inner nerdness wants to see Horus Heresy being played by Henry Cavill, I think I can dial it back to gatekeep the fuck out of it. Because I don't want the 30k lore to be ever adapted. The books, they do it justice. Man, how many Horus Heresy books are there nowadays? Because I had to stop at 30. I had a lot of time on my hands. Horus Heresy books. Curious what, how many books are there? Oh my goodness. There are 60 books of the Horus Heresy. With more in the pipeline. You want to understand Warhammer 40k lore? Read Horus Heresy. They're so good. They're so good. So it looks like they finally reached Terra. Nice. About time. 60 books. When did the last book come out? Man, that makes me want to get back into it. I really want to get back into them. But I think my problem is I need to listen to them on audio. So I'm going to see if I can find a audio version of these books just to get through them. Because it's on my bucket list to finish this entire series. So, yeah, we'll get that on audio. Yeah, poor Henry Cavill, man. He's just getting screwed left and right. He's getting screwed left and right. HBO confirms that The House of Dragons has wrapped up filming. Great. Again, sorry, Game of Thrones fans. You guys are not going to get your books, and you had a really shitty Season 8 ending. Don't know what to say. I'm not even going to go into this article. I'll probably do an Icey News on it. Basically, Disney announced Story Living. So basically, celebrities can enjoy their fantasy neighborhood, not worry about the USA, which I think should be completely illegal. That corporates can now have their own towns. I think that's bullshit, but whatever. Nintendo closing 3DS and Wii U stores in 2023 has no plans to offer classic content in other ways. I cannot stress the importance of physical media. Always buy physical media if you can. Because otherwise, if you go digital, this is what happens. This is what happens. Spider-Man No Way Home passes Avatar to become the third highest growing film ever in domestic box offices. Yay! I'm actually happy with that. More reboots. Transformers Rise of the Beast will be the first film in a new trilogy until the first one bombs, and then they'll cancel the second two. Gee, I wonder what other Disney Star Wars movie failed. That was supposed to have a trilogy and failed. Oh, yeah, that's right. Soul lost money. And this one really hurts me because I'm a big fan of the Beast Wars. And I understand we're probably going to get the Beast Wars in this. They're going to bring it to live adaptation because now we've reached the 90s in all this remaking process. I am not looking forward to seeing Optimal Optimus on the big screen. Not looking forward to seeing Rat Trap, Cheetor, Rhinox on the big screen. I know how they can do it. They can play the arc. They can play all of Beast Wars into this. I'm just not looking forward to it. Not looking forward to it at all. I'll probably end up watching that one because I probably want to do a review on it. Because Beast Wars is near and dear to my heart. It's what got me into basically anime and Sailor Moon and to all these other things. It was the entry level from Toonami and all that. So I don't understand. Is Hershey trying to imply that women are like candy bars? Look at this. Celebrate she. Why? Why can't we be equals? You guys wanted equality. He isn't she. I'll make that fucking argument. There's new Star Trek that we don't care about. New Star Trek we don't care about. Oh, yeah, this is another one. Shout out to Master TDS for bringing this one to my attention on my timeline. Quantum Leap reboot woke no white males uses non-binary characters cosmic book news. Let's go ahead and dive into this one. Quantum Leap reboot woke. While it seems as if Quantum Leap reboot has been in good hands, a recent casting call suggests otherwise, as no white male characters are present, and there's no non-binary character listed in addition to other questionable elements about the show. According to that hashtag show, who claims to have a rundown of the description of the Quantum Leap reboot characters. The cast consists of a Middle Eastern, a North African, or Asia Pacific American main character, a female who serves as the project lead, another female who serves as head of security, non-binary male, chief architect, a black man who heads the time travel project, another mysterious female character that leaps forward, apparently deals with a woman who is divorcing her husband. Below, you can check out the character descriptions. This has the full info. This is crazy. Oh my goodness. Even Quantum Leap is now getting a reboot. Why? I wish Hollywood would learn their lesson. Like I said, this was a very dark week for pop culture. Star Wars, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings, Quantum Leap, Halo, BioShock, Fallout. It just keeps going on and on and on. Unreal. I already talked about this. Viacom, CBS, rebrand to Paramount. Oh, we need to look at Uncharted. Because that dumbass movie came out. Let's take a look at the Rotten Tomato score for it. See if I can find it. Let's take a look, shall we? I don't know if I believe that or not. Because if you... Okay. Well, I'll show you. I'll let you guys decide. 39% Rotten, 90% audience score. Who's the studio on this? Is it Disney? So I'll leave it up to you guys. I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to waste my money on this. Even though I'm a hypocrite because I spent money on Moonfall, but I love my disaster genres. And let's say Moonfall was definitely the worst of the disaster movies so far, but the third act basically holds a gem of a potential sci-fi series that should have been on Netflix. Yeah, that's a terrible miscasting. I don't know if I believe that 90% Rotten Tomato score. Oh, man. And see, this is where things just get worse and worse. And again, another hit from Star Wars this week. This week, man, it's just a mess for Star Wars. Disney announces the new soulless cash grab novel about Han and Leia Organa's wedding and honeymoon. Where would that be? Where would that be? Of course, it's part of the stupid Galactic Star Cruisers, whatever you want to call it. That's where they got me. So you too can go down to the Star Cruiser hotel and go where Disney's Han and Disney's Leia married and had their honeymoon. Don't forget, they also divorced a little bit later. So if you go there, then... yeah, maybe a little bit of false correlation, but, it didn't end too well for them for the Disney side of things. We all know how that ended. Not great marketing, Disney. Dumbasses. Why is Disney so dumb? Oh man, jeez, this has been. Yeah, we're gonna touch this topic. I wasn't sure if I'll really want to touch this, but again, this was the week of dumb. Kotaku, they can go fuck themselves too, by the way. Lost Ark's depiction of female characters feels a decade out of date. Lost Ark is a lot of fun. I played hours and hours of it, and I'm excited to play more. However, the latest smash hit on Steam is facing criticism for how it portrays its female characters. Here we go again, ladies and gentlemen. The female characteristic portrayal card is back again. Because someone needs clicks and views. That's all I'm going to read from this article. That's all I need to say about it. Gaming, entertainment, movies, TV, they are escapism. I am done with people trying to preach to me how I should escape. Let people do what they want to do. Let them make sexy characters. Allow people to make crazy characters too. I don't care. This betrayal argument is bullshit because it is how people want to escape, and you can't tell them what to do. Anyone who makes that argument loses all credibility. Simple as that. Simple as that. So there was some sort of good news this week on the gaming front. Social justice activist Sam Maggs announced she quit Knights of the Old Republic remake. And we were all rejoicing. I'm not even going to bother with this article. I'm just happy with that. We'll take our victories where we can get it. Take our victories where we can get it. There's a whole bunch of space stuff. Okay, I am done with pop culture. I'm going to go to space, something that I actually care about. Because there's a lot of good things that happen with space. Let me see here. Okay, so James Webb Telescope, because you guys know I'm obsessed with this thing, is currently in its L2 orbit around Earth and Sun. And right now, they're just focusing on calibrating it. So this is the latest pictures of a nearby star, I believe. And you can see that, they're still trying to get the calibrations correct. So that's what the latest and greatest is with the Webb telescope. I think they said it's going to be like October is when it'll do its first mission. But again, they've got to calibrate it and go from there. And this is pretty cool. The NASA's Perseverance rover landed 1 year ago today. That's the one that's taking the awesome selfies of itself, the one that has its little helicopter. This is the first one, too, that it was jettisoned from another jet vehicle thing. It wasn't landed in like a big giant bubble. Neptune. Neptune's in the news because there's potential that we're going to get another, or it's going to get its very own orbiter around the planets. Very, very cool. Very cool. Let's see here. What else? Yeah, don't care about that. Oh, yeah, this one was pretty cool, too. German scientists have discovered a rare merger event. So astronomers have discovered a new type of freak star covered in helium-burning ashes, which they say were likely formed by a rare stellar merger event. And again, I'm not going to get into the details here, but that is pretty... Look at that. Artist's impression of a rare kind of stellar merger event between two white dwarf stars. Definitely do not want to be near that whatsoever. The FAA is doing FAA things and still trying to figure out its environmental assets for This Starship Super Heavy project. Sure. I hope they get their approval so we can go to Mars finally. So that way we can go to Mars and beyond. Alrighty. Wow, what a week. What a week, guys. This is by far, I'm sorry that this episode was a little bit more on the depressing side. I tried to find some good space news, but space was kind of dead this week. There wasn't really anything worthwhile besides those small little discoveries and some things that happened in the past. But man, I was exhausted this week because with pop culture just going the way it did, another Star Trek movie, a potential another post-sequel trilogy with freaking Ray Palpatine, with all these video game now adaptations trying to follow the path of Arcane, Amazon trying to have their own versions of Game of Thrones, their own version of Arcane. It's getting annoying. And oh, by the way, we've already paid for Lord of the Rings because Amazon Prime jumped. I think it went from like 14 something to 18 something. So yeah, we are already paying for, or already paid for, the Rings of Power. Yeah, so definitely not a good week. But one thing I do have to thank him for is that I doubled down on manga. I have read so many volumes of awesome stories this week. Like I said, hopefully I can get that out. Get a couple of them out tomorrow. I was trying to get it today, but I just ran out of time. Trying to think what else. So, what's coming up this week? So, we've got the Mangaverse. I've got some new manga haul that I'll show you guys what new mangas I got and what is coming up for that. And as you guys can see, I've got some news articles for manga too. There's some good things in there. Wednesday is a big day. Back on the Endless Collectibles channel, we're going to have our first guest on the Triple C with the Geeky Crochet. We've got Tommytron TV coming from the Geeks and Gamers. We're going to be talking about the joys of collecting, and we're going to have Tommytron kind of share his collection of 80s and 90s nostalgia when it comes to just that aspect of collecting. I've got a few things that I've been collecting from the 90s, which I'll show off as well. And we're just going to have a great conversation on just what makes collecting so fun, what things do we collect, what makes collecting special. So definitely do not want to miss that. That'll be 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time over on the Endless Collectibles channel. Tommytron TV from Geeks and Gamers. I am excited for that show. Truly excited. And then we'll be back here on Saturday for another episode of the Icey Lair podcast. But it is my favorite episode. It is the State of Ice for February. It'll be the last episode for the Icey Lair podcast in February because the next week will be the first week of March. So that'll be on the 26th. And then on the 28th, we'll have the State of Manga going forward. And I am excited for that. So I think that is all that I have. Again, follow me on Twitter for all my video releases. Feel free to leave a comment down below. Subscribe to the channel. Click that bell for notifications so you guys can get notification of when the next Icey Lair podcast and all of my content on this channel is going to be. And that's all I have for you guys. So with that, wing hugs to all, and to all a good night.
We'll all